Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Wristwatch production. My name is Brandon, and this is my review of Legend of Korra, Episode 3, The Coronation. The main focus of this episode is, in fact, the Coronation, and the Coronation is Wu, who we saw in the first episode. He's the snotty, bratty, I can't remember his relation to the Earth Queen at this point. It was his great aunt or something, but he is basically to take over as Earth King and bossing Say and everything like that, and this is supposed to be his coronation. Essentially, the episode also focuses on Kuvira, and Kuvira is basically establishing that she is going to rule over the Earth Kingdom, now referred to as the Earth Empire. And something interesting about Kuvira, I mean, we got vibes that she was going to be the main antagonist and everything like that in the first episode. It was painfully obvious, but, you know, I called her the polar opposite of Zahir, and I think it's funny that Bolin compares her a bit more to Korra. He says she's hard to deal with and she's really headstrong and everything like that, but Kuvira obviously thinks things through way more than Korra ever did. The reason why I wanted to bring up that I said she was the opposite of Zahir is she's actually a bit more similar to Zahir than I think was initially established, because she mentions how she finds the age of kings and queens and passing things down through the family and everything like that archaic. And Zahir's motivation for doing what he did was actually a similar notion, in that he found kings and queens and tyrants and everything like this to be archaic. He was an anarchist, whereas Kuvira is a dictator. So she's going about it the opposite way. She states that anyone who gets in her way will be crushed, and she refuses to give up power. And she also states that she believes industry and technology are what should drive progress and a good leader. It's shown at the end of the episode that she has Varric working on something involving the spirit vines, and it's unclear what that is. I wouldn't be surprised if it's maybe trying to control spirits, maybe trying to force spirits under her banner. I'm not sure how that would play out. You know, we really haven't gotten any major involvement from spirits at all since book 2. You know, we didn't really have any spirits that involved themselves in book 3 at all. And in book 4, aside from the spirit that led Korra to Toph, which I'll be getting to in a little bit, there isn't much in the way of spirits or their involvement since book 2. And we have Mako and Bolin fighting, because Bolin is sort of, he's uneasy about it, but he's buying into what Kuvira is selling. Basically, you know, he worries about it. He's like, what was all that stuff about crushing them and crushing the opposition? And she said, oh, that was just some tough rhetoric to let them know we mean business. And Bolin totally buys into that. And it's like, Bolin, that means that you guys are basically issuing like a sort of declaration of, not really war, but basically saying that if anyone attacks you, that war is going to occur and you guys are going to be on one side of that war. So you know, Bolin has an argument with Mako, and Mako basically throughout this episode eventually just establishes to Wu, he's like, dude, at least Kuvira is helping. Like, she might not be doing it in the best way, but at least she's helping. You're garbage. And the kid's like, you're right. So hopefully we never have to see Wu again. That would be pleasant. We also get to see that Su Yin also tells Kuvira that she shouldn't do this and everything like that, and Su Yin is like, I know what you're doing to people who don't join your empire. And she goes, well, now you know what's coming for Zaofu, which is the Metal City. I have a feeling we're gonna have a huge battle involving the Metal City, and that's cool. I mean, I like the Metal City. I think the Metal City is super dope. As for Korra and Toph, so Korra is in the swamp, she meets Toph, and she convinces Toph to help her out. And Toph basically says, I can't stand to see you get your ass kicked, because you're the Avatar, so I'm gonna get you back on track. And basically we learn that Korra she still has metal in her body from when Zahir and the rest of them poisoned her. And Toph says, I can get it out. Su Yin and Lin were never as good at metal bending as I was, but, you know, I'll help you get it out, but you have to totally relax. And Korra, every time Toph tried to get the metal out, she would flash back to Zahir and everything like that. And Toph basically says, whatever your issues are, you have to get over them. You're going to have to bend this metal out of yourself. And, you know, Toph also goes on this whole thing about how she's not really as detached from the world as she seems. She can actually see everything using the swamp vines, because if you remember Avatar The Last Airbender, it was established that the swamp sort of is all connected. It was all one big tree. And that the world is all really connected, and that was sort of a big theme of Avatar The Last Airbender that never really got as much of a focus as I think it kind of should have. But this is really central to that point, as Toph actually says, I can see everything. She is like, you're more blind than I am. And another thing is that Toph, dealing the hard-hitting truths, she basically tells Korra that she's unimportant. And Toph says, when I was police captain, crime never stopped. It never stopped no matter what I did. It never stopped. I never really felt like I'm making a difference. And it's clear that that's the reason why Toph left. And I think that's important, is basically Toph got frustrated with the crime that was going on, and she said, fuck it, and bailed. And she can still see the rest of the world and everything like that, but she doesn't want to be bothered. And she likes having Korra around because she has somebody to beat up on. But aside from that, Toph basically tells Korra, you've got to get over your issues. Like, you have issues. And Toph basically says that Korra's issues are that maybe she doesn't want to be the Avatar because that means she'll get hurt again. So basically, Korra is afraid of getting hurt, and she's afraid that she'll fail again. And Toph basically says, you're using this medal as an excuse. Ultimately, that may be true, and I think that's some interesting insight. Now, I'm sticking by the spirit that she was seeing, the version of herself, was sort of Rava subconsciously leading her to Toph, because Toph also tells her to, like, oh, go find the spirit that led you here if you need help and stuff like that, because Toph's kind of a bitch. She's old and crotchety, but she's still a beast. And finally, we have, near the end of the episode, Tenzin sends Jinora, Milo, and Ikki, who we haven't really seen anything from so far, to go find Korra and to go bring her back. Because that's Tenzin's main goal this whole episode, is to find Korra. That's pretty much everything. Really excited for what happens next episode. Hopefully we get some fights. We get some good action, because we didn't have a lot of that action this episode. It was mostly just Korra getting the crap beaten out of her by Toph. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.